Ladies and gentlemen, so in this video we are going to discuss this pattern number 13. So before printing this pattern now, we know how to print this triangle. So can we print this triangle first? I don't want to make the problem more complicated. So we know we will go step by step. We know how to print this pattern, star pattern. So let's print it now first. Or print I equals to 1, I should be less than equals to n. What is my n? I have to take n from the user now. Int n equals to scn dot next int and I plus plus. Inside this for loop, what should I have to write? I have to run another loop, that is j. J should start from 1, j should be less than equals to I, and j plus plus. System dot out dot print. What should I have to print? I have to print star, because initially we are trying to print our star, this triangle in stars, and in the system dot out dot print ln, so that we can move in the next line. Okay, so let's run our loop for n equals to 5. Okay, see, we are getting our output. In the first row we are having one star. See here in this diagram, in the first row we are having only single one. In the second row we are having two numbers, that is 1 and 1. We will discuss it. We will discuss how we get this 1 and 1, but at least we are getting in the two stars in the second row as well. Okay, so let's take this pattern on the board and let's discuss something. Okay, see, before discussing about these things, I want to discuss something else. What is that something else? We know some formula. When we are in lower classes, we studied about it. That is NC0, NCN. Both are equals to 1. We studied about it when we are studying about permutation and combination. So in combination, we studied about this formula. NC0 is equals to 1 and NCN is also equals to 1. Why I'm telling these things, I'll tell you after a while. Another formula that we studied, NCK. N factorial divided by k factorial multiplied by n minus k factorial. Have we studied about this? Okay. So this is the first thing that I'm telling you. Another thing that I am trying to discuss here is, see very carefully what I'm writing. Int I equals to 1, I should be less than equals to n. Let's suppose for n we are having 5 and I plus plus. This is the body for a for loop, and another body for a for loop is int I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. See, here I have written less than equals to 5 and starting my I from 1. Here I am starting my I from 0 and written only less than. So can you tell me how many times this for loop will run? See, we know how many times this for loop will run. This for loop will run 5 times. For 1, for 2, 3, 4. When I becomes 5, 5 is less than equals to 5, condition true. Then when I is 6, 6 is less than equals to 5, no. Then this means this for loop runs 5 times. Fine. Count the number of cycles now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This for loop runs 5 times. Okay. What about this for loop? I is starting from 0. 0 is less than 5. Condition true. Okay. First time. 1 is less than 5. Condition true. 2 is less than 5. Condition true. 3 is less than 5. Condition true. 4 is less than 5. Condition true. 5 is less than 5. No, 5 is less than 5. No, 5 is not less than 5. 5 is equals to 5. So this for loop won't work for I equals to 5. Is it clear now? Now count the number of cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It means both these two loops run for 5 times. Why I'm telling these things, I'll tell you after a while. So if I start my loop from 1, I should have to take it less than equals to 5. When I'm starting my loop from 0, I have to take this from less than 5. Both will run for 5 times. Is it clear? Okay. Now, see, this is my 0th row. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. 0th column, first column, second column, third, fourth, and fifth column. Okay. Now observe this fifth row. This fifth row. Have your eyes on this fifth row. This is, can I write this 1 as 5C0? 5C0. See, from this formula, 5C0. 5C0 is what? 1. From this formula, we can say NC0, that is 5C0 is equals to 1. Therefore, I can say this is 5C0. Okay, let's move on to the second column. It could be 5C1. Can I write this? Okay, what is the value of 5C1? 5C1. We know about this formula NCK, that is 5 factorial divided by 1 factorial multiplied by 5 minus 1, that is 4 factorial, which can be written as 5 into 4 factorial divided by 1 factorial will be 1 and 4 factorial. 4 factorial will be cancelled out and we get 5. See, 5C1. We calculated 5C1 and we are getting 5. And 5C1 is also 5. This is 5C2, this is 5C3, this is 5C4 and this is 5C5. Okay. Therefore, I have told you these formulas. Are you getting the point? But if I start my loop from 1, I cannot get, what is my, this is my row. 5 is what? This is my row and this is my column. If I start my loop from 1, I never get this 0. Therefore, I have to start my loop from 0, because in previous videos, we always started our loop from 1. But this time I have to start my loop from 0 in order to get this, make this formula. Are you getting the concept? Okay. Now we know how to calculate these numbers, because every time 5C0 is 1, 1C0 is 1, 2C2 is also 1, 2C0 is also 1, 3C0 is also 1, 4C0 is also 1, 5C0 is also 1. So this time I have to start my for loop from, let me increase the font size. Okay, it's 18 pixel already. Okay. So I have to start my loop from 0 less than n. J should also start from 0. Instead of printing this star, what should I have to print? I have to print the value. How we get this value? As I said, in this case, we are having RCJ. And in order to calculate RCJ, what should I have to write? My RCJ, that means if R is 1, R is 0, R is 1, R is 2, R is 3, R is 4, R is 5, then every time when J is 0, I have to print 1. So instead of calculating RCJ when J is 0, R is 1, J, R is 2, RC2, RC0, 2C0, 3C0, 4C0, we are always getting 1. So instead of calculating this every time, I am saying that I'm writing it as, sorry, int R C J is equals to 1, because every time we are starting from 1, and I have to print this what? RCJ plus. Now have to calculate our next value as well. What I'm saying is, in order to calculate this value, what should I have to do? Can I get this value 5 from my previous number? Yes, we can. There is another formula that I'm going to discuss with you. You just have a faith on it that this formula is working. The formula is RCJ plus 1. That is, I want to calculate this number. I can calculate this number from my previous number as well. That is RCJ multiplied by, that is our ICJ, even we can say R, not R, it's ICJ. It's ICJ. ICJ plus 1 is calculated by ICJ. I minus J, J plus 1. We can calculate this value from the previous value. See, if I want to calculate this ICJ plus 1, I is 5, C, J plus 1, J is 0 plus 1, that is I want to calculate this value, that is 1. ICJ is previous value, that is 5C0. I minus J, I is 5, J is 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. Divided by J plus 1. J plus 1 is J plus 1, that is 1. Okay. So how can I get this? ICJ, that is 2. Okay. J plus 1. J is 1 and I am JC2, that is 5. Okay. 5C0 is 1. 1 multiplied by 5 and divided by 1, we are getting our 5. So in order to get this value, we can calculate our 10 from our previous values. In order to get this 10, I can calculate my value from the previous value using this formula. Fine. So after printing this RCJ, I have to calculate my RCJ plus 1 equals to RCJ multiplied by R minus J divided by J plus 1. Is it clear? Now we are printing RCJ. So I have to assign this RCJ plus 1 value to the RCJ. Then RCJ becomes RCJ plus 1, because we are printing our RCJ and I'm calculating RCJ1. So I have to assign this value RCJ1 to RCJ. Therefore, the value gets printed. So let's try to run our code. Okay, so there is some, there is my mistake. Let's run it again. RCJ, cannot find symbol RCJ. RCJ, R minus J. It's even ICJ. Okay, it's not, it's R, it's ICJ, I minus J, because we declared it as RCJ. There is a runtime error. Okay, RCJ plus 1, RCJ. Let's rename it as ICJ. Then we can clear it more for better understanding. Then ICJ plus 1, I minus, it must be divided by J plus 1. Okay, RCJ, not it's ICJ. ICJ. This one. Okay. Now let's run it again. So now our code is accepted. Eventually that was also accepted, but you have to write in this parenthesis. This value should be in the parenthesis because it is dividing it by j, and then after dividing the value by j, then it is adding 1. So now let's try to submit it. It is taking a lot of time. Okay, let's get accepted. I hope you like this video. Thank you.